Oh, hey there. Welcome back to another episode where I check random household bottles of liquid for no apparent reason at all. Today, featuring sriracha. Nah, I'm just kidding. As you saw from the video title, today I'll be sharing tips on making better quality flashcards. It's been a pretty highly requested video from the fam, and I get it. It's easy to make a ton of flashcards, but quantity doesn't always equal quality. And of course, I'm talking about making digital flashcards because let's be honest, nobody should be making handwritten flashcards anymore. Stop that. Just don't do it. This isn't Game of Thrones, alright? We have these things called phones now, and laptops, and apps. The flashcard game has evolved like a Pokemon, alright? Don't be a Diglett. Keep up. You can use whichever flashcard program you want. I'm using Remnote because I love the workflow and the built-in spaced repetition, but these tips should apply over all the different sophisticated flashcard apps on the market. So let's just get right into it, guys. 10 steps for better quality flashcards, plus a bonus tip at the end of the video for you flashcard fanatics. Let's go. Don't put too much information on any flashcard. Ideally, you want it to be one piece of information per flashcard because if you have 2 or 3 or more pieces of information, then it'll be easier to remember the easy stuff, but you'll have to keep practicing the card over and over to remember the hard stuff. My solution is to actually just break down these bigger flashcards into more specific, separate flashcards. Don't be afraid to make too many flashcards because if you're using a spaced repetition system, then naturally over time, the easier cards will be shown to you less, just leaving the difficult ones, and then eventually you can just disable the easy ones completely. And next is to be as specific and concise as possible. Ask a specific question or use very intentional wording. The idea is to not leave yourself wondering what that flashcard is actually asking. For example, making a flashcard called mitosis is too vague. Like, what about mitosis? What's the definition? What cells undergo mitosis? Where am I going to find it in the textbook? A better flashcard would be list out the specific steps in mitosis in order. Now, if I see that flashcard, it's super clear and I know exactly what it's asking for. Next is to give your flashcards context. Learning isn't just about memorizing facts. I want to understand the information's context and how to apply it. So when I study flashcards, I try to mentally slot each bit of information into the bigger picture so I can see how it relates to all the other concepts that I'm learning about. I include context for my flashcards on the answer size using the extra card detail feature in Remnote. I prefer not to put clues or contexts on the front side of my flashcards because sometimes it gives away the answer and hinders whether or not I truly know the concept. So here's some examples of what context might include. So what's the big picture concept that this piece of information belongs to? Or is it part of a process? What other concepts are commonly compared and contrasted with this piece of information? And where can I go to find more information about this topic if I'm a little rusty? And there are a lot of ways you can add that context. I use images or diagrams, flowcharts, even link YouTube videos sometimes and add hyperlinks to papers and stuff. If you're taking multiple classes or studying a field that's really interconnected, then it's likely that you're going to come across contradictory information throughout your flashcards. So having the context on the back side of the flashcards always clues me into the topic that I'm learning about, the source, so I don't have to go digging through my notes or the textbook to find a little bit more information about that. Next is to use images. Our brain prefers to remember imagery over words. For example, if I were to tell you to think of the word ramen, the letters R-A-M-E-N probably wasn't the image that you had in your mind. It was most likely a deliciously huge steaming bowl of broth and noodles, and then you shoveling that into your mouth. So a quick and easy way that I incorporate images into my flashcards is to just take a screenshot on my computer using the snipping tool or the Mac equivalent, I'm not sure what that's called, and then just pasting it right into my flashcards. I know that Remnote and other similar flashcard apps have the image occlusion feature, which is really cool. You can actually block out certain parts of images and then study those as flashcards. Check out this video up here if you want to learn how to do that in Remnote. Next is to make less decks. Instead of making a separate deck for every chapter, every lecture in my course, I'm just going to make one giant deck for the entire exam. I prefer studying from a bigger pool of information because my flashcards are all randomized, so it forces me to think about multiple different topics during a single study session. And most exams that you take are also randomized, right? There are going to be questions from lecture 1, lecture 5, lecture 10. So having that randomization also emulates how you're going to be taking your test, so might as well study the same way. Next is to use tags. A lot of information will overlap with each other. In medicine, a lot of drugs are used for multiple diseases, and certain infections affect multiple organ systems. So instead of wasting time by making and organizing repeated information, I use tags that further categorize all my flashcards by topics. In RemNote, I can take it one step further and use references to deepen the connections between all of my flashcards. But the main goal is to just focus and prevent redundancy. Next is to use mnemonics. This involves using patterns of numbers or letters to associate with your knowledge for better memory. And I generally put the mnemonics on the back side of the flashcards in the extra card detail again for the same reason as before. I don't want hints while I'm answering the flashcard, but once I see the context of it, I want to know when I need to apply that mnemonic if I come across some buzzwords on the test. Next is to use the memory palace or the method of loci. It's a technique where you associate pieces of knowledge with imagery. And again, I put these images on the reverse side of my flashcards in the extra card detail. I'm not going to go into too much information about the method of loci. You can check out this video up here if you want to learn more about that. Next is to use enumeration to make stepwise flashcards. Enumeration means naming all the items in a list one by one in order, because naming a list without any order is really difficult. So using enumeration for a list will prompt you to remember that order specifically, and that's going to reinforce the same neural pathways in your brain to solidify that in your memory. This strategy is really effective for learning processes in mathematics or in medicine when things are very algorithmic and you have to go down a specific pathway. In RemNote, you can turn your flashcard into an enumeration by using 2 colons, followed by 1, followed by the period with no spaces in between, and then you can type out your list. And when I study that flashcard, I'll be prompted every step down the list. And the last tip is to practice both forwards and backwards. When you make flashcards, it's usually the front being the question and the back being the answer. But during the test, you'll never know if the exam might give you the answer and then ask for the question, or vice versa. So when I make flashcards now, I always ask, can this flashcard actually be 2 flashcards, one going forwards and one going backwards? All right, guys, so here is the bonus tip. If you're a super lazy human being like me, and you don't like making a whole bunch of flashcards, then what you should do is to phone a friend or reach out to the smartest kid in the class and ask to use their flashcards. Let me show you how it's done. Luckily, I got someone on speed dial. All right, let's see if he answers.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I heard from a friend that you wrecked the hematology exam in medical school. Is that true?
I mean, I can't confirm nor deny that.
Sick. Can I get your flashcards for that?
Sure. That'll be $500.
$500?
I mean, they're really good flashcards, man.
Okay, they better be the best.
I'm just kidding, though. Yeah, I'll send it to info@Matty.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, hey, by the way, have you seen Invincible, that show?
Oh, the show on Amazon?
Yeah.
Dude, that show is so good.
It's so good, dude.
I watched the first episode. I was like already like all about it, and then the ending just blew my mind of the first episode.
Dude. Yeah, definitely finish it if you haven't. Like, I would just drop everything and just binge it, like, so you can move on.
I mean, if you're giving your flashcards, then might as well. I don't have to do that, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Sick.
All right, yeah, I'll send it over.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
Hey, see you.
And that's how you do that.
Little bros always be moochin'. Anyways, I figured instead of just sharing flashcards between the 2 of us, why not share flashcards with everybody? So in the description below, we will link one of our Step 1 study decks. Feel free to download it and import it into your RemNote account and use it for your study purposes, or you can just take a look to see how we structure our flashcards. Also, speaking of free stuff, we went ahead and compiled all the key points of this video, all 10 steps, into an ebook that you can download for free from our library. So I'll link it down below. If you get a chance to check out either of these 2 things, our flashcards or our ebook, I'd love to hear some feedback in the comments. We're not flashcard experts or anything, but we have been working on improving our flashcard game for years now, to the point where we don't really take notes in class anymore. And we recently made a video about not taking notes and not even going to class. And if that's something you're interested in, you can watch it by tapping on the screen right here.